Hey guys, welcome back to the SWADE Pro Show. I'm Stacy, your host. Today I have actually two guests with me. I have Miss Arkansas Amy. Amy, say hi.
Hi.
And we have Mr. Blake Woodson. Blake, how are you doing? Say hi.
I'm good. Hi.
All right, so Blake, you may have seen Blake in my haunted videos. So Blake, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like what, if you're not doing investigations, what do you do?
Other than investigations, well, I work for the state of Arkansas, the Public Service Commission, and I'm an auditor there. And then other than that, I book bands at some local venues, support live music any chance I get. And I am a Santa Claus. 38 appearances this past Christmas season. And then other than that, I retired from being a celebrity impersonator of Alan from The Hangover. I just retired that because it's ran its course. I mean, the movie's like 10 years old now. So
yeah, but you got to think there's only 31 days in December, and you were Santa Claus 38.
I go through November through January.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't know how you did it, so you got to explain that.
Well, there were several during, one day I'd do up to 4 or 5 a day.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
So if they want to book you, how would they book you?
Easiest way is either to find me on Instagram at Santa Blake AR or Facebook, and it's Santa Blake AR too.
Yeah, that should be the
AR as in Arkansas.
Just clarify that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Amy, anything you want to tell us before we get started? Anything new?
Well, I want to tell a little bit about Arkansas Amy. I am now branding myself. So anyway, I do have a degree in Arkansas history. I do work for the state also. I am director of capital zoning for the state of Arkansas. And so I will be, you can find me on Facebook at Arkansas Amy and on Facebook. And also my email is arkansasamy@outlook.com. If you ever have an Arkansas history question, hit me up.
All right, Blake, you're in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat.
So what is the most active, not haunted place, but what is the most active you've investigating?
The state capitol was off the hook. The Arlington Hotel, which they don't want people to know it's haunted for some reason.
You'd say it's the Arlington is?
Yeah. I'd say Arlington. Every time I've been there's been something that.
Tell us about it. You're talking about the Arlington and Hot Springs, correct?
Yes. Well, one time I was there. I wasn't there investigating. I was just there with a female friend. She was in the bathroom and the door locked. The bathroom door locked, and she was trying to open the door. Couldn't get it open, so she yelled for me. She sat down on the toilet seat down. She wasn't, and so
just to clarify,
I had to clarify that. Come on.
Oh goodness.
I also don't have a filter, so sorry. You're gonna have to filter for me.
I got beats.
So I got out of the bed, walked towards the door. As I reached for the door, it opened. Just open, and she had been trying. I heard her. She was trying to open that door, and a few minutes went by. I mean, you can't get to the door in 2 seconds.
Right.
So I got out of bed, walked over there, and in that time, when I reached for the door, it opened.
Oh goodness!
So that's one time, and then another time I was supporting live music. I was an MC for a festival that was there, and they put us up in the Arlington. And after it, a bunch of my friends said, "Hey, I want to go ghost hunting. And I was like, well, I've got my stuff in the car, so we can just go to the hotel and pull it out and walk around the hotel and the halls and stuff.
Right.
We got to my room. I pulled out all the equipment, and it started going nuts in my room. And then the door opened.
Oh, okay.
Nobody around. The door just opens. And so, SLS cameras showing people in there. We're talking to people on the ghost box. I mean, spirit box, all kinds of stuff just going crazy. And then for some reason we got bored with that and just sat around and started talking. And it's about 5 a.m. It's about 5 a.m. and everybody's like, well, I'm going to go home. Or I'm going to go to my room. And I'm like, good, because I'm going to go to sleep.
Right.
So I packed up all my stuff in the Pelican cases, put the Pelican cases over to the side, turned off the lights, and okay.
There you go.
The lights just went off. See, I should have
When you said turned off the lights, the lights went off.
Perfect timing.
Okay.
wow.
They know that ghost folks are in the house.
Oh my goodness.
Well, should I continue my story?
Go ahead.
Does the
Go
lights
ahead.
come on?
Yeah.
This is actually a little better. Go ahead.
Well, and right before that, when I said, "Okay, everybody, let's pack up and go our own ways," the door opens. Mm-hmm. First it's shut, then it opens when everybody's ready to go. So that was crazy.
So is there anything else that happened there?
Yeah. So I put my stuff and I put my Pelican cases up against the wall, and I turned off the lights, and all of a sudden I hear a bam. When Pelican cases fall over, they'll make a little noise, but they won't go bam like they did, like one flying into the other. And I just kind of sat up and was like, no, I'm too tired to get up and see what that was. So
Too tired or too scared?
Yeah. Well, no.
I'm just too tired.
I'm just too tired.
Okay.
I've had experience in New Orleans. And I'm no longer scared of paranormal. So then I lay back down, and a couple minutes later, and I heard a knock at the window.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of looked at the window like, what the heck was that? It's 5 a.m. There's no birds flying around or anything. If they were, they're not going to be knocking on the window.
Goodness.
Again, knock at the window. And I just yelled, stop it. Nothing the rest of the night.
Yep.
So
I know those experiences. I mean, sometimes you just got to go stop enough. Yep. Yeah.
So the other part of this is Arkansas Amy doesn't know anything about anything I'm going to ask you. So now I'm going to randomly ask her, what facts do you know about that would possibly tie into that place being haunted?
Well, first off, let me tell you how Arkansas Amy gets into the haunt here. I own Haunted Arkansas Tours, which we give walking tours all over the state with different small towns around different just obscure things, not touristy things. People like from the town want to come and hear ghost stories about their town. So being a historical researcher, I have researched many towns and found their local ghost stories. And what I've found is when I tell ghost stories in a historical Arkansas location, anything like that, things always happen. And in the fall, from September to the 1st of November, when I give the walking tours of Argenta, which is downtown North Little Rock, I give those personally. I've done those for 6 years and have helped with other ones around the state. But that one personally, I have learned not to react when things happen because I've got a group of 25 people. It's 9:00 at night in the dark. We're on the streets of Argenta, and I will be telling a story about something that's happened there. And a building will react in one way or another. And I learned early, if you say, oh my gosh, did you see that? Or what just happened? People start screaming and running. Nobody wants that, So I usually let it happen, whatever's happening, maybe play it off at the time, but then tell the next tour what happened. So, but I have had before to just say, stop, enough. This is their entertainment for the night. Quit harassing us, and just almost under your breath say it because I take it as the story. The people down there like to hear stories about themselves, and I'm the ghost woman, and like the little boy that haunts Reno's down in Argenta. People will tell me right after I left the tour, I went there and I think I saw him, and I'm like, well, he likes to be talked about.
Do you still use my picture?
Your picture I have used just this year. Yes. Because it's one of those things that, people are not the same people come for ghost stories that come for paranormal. Not always. Some people think that I'm going to do paranormal with them. And I keep telling them, if you came for somebody to chase you down the street with a bloody chainsaw, you're in the wrong tour, Yeah. However, Jessica Hammond, my daughter, started doing the tours with us.
You just messed up your daughter's name?
I did. It's her married name, y'all. But she's been married a while. Thank you. Thank you for the lights. Just came back on.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I was talking about Jessica. But anyway, she started doing the tours this last time by herself too. And what she did was she did do a ghost spirit box thing on people's phones if they wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And as she told the stories of the railroads and everything in North Little Rock, the spirit boxes would chime in and say things like train or death or something like that.
That's
and so
cool.
that was something. It was she did that when she first started doing by herself. And then I was like, well, I never thought about that, but okay. So anyway, do I know anything about the Arlington? That was the question. I'm sorry. I get distracted.
That would maybe solidify his experience, like something happened there. I know it's on the spot.
It is kind of on the spot, and I'm not real good at the hot springs history. However, wasn't the Arlington just the sign of a lot of mobsters?
It was. Al Capone has his own floor there. But
Fourth one.
Is it?
Fourth floor.
Well, from where I was, and this is what the people from the people at the desk told me, 2 stories above my room, a lady jumped out the window and committed suicide.
That
is
makes
it like
sense.
directly above you or is it off to the side?
I don't remember.
Because maybe she tapped that window on the way down.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Well, that's what
like,
they said. They said it could have been her hitting the window as she fell, and I'm like, twice. So,
well, the ghost was like, well, there's a single cute guy in this room. Go knock on his window.
Oh, she just called me cute.
There you go.
Hey, you. If you're enjoying this, why not give us a like and consider following us wherever you get your podcast? Sharing is caring, and we would love your feedback, so drop us a line. Now, back to the SWADE Pro Show.
You know the hotel next to it, which I'm sorry I don't remember the name right now, but I know it's being historically renovated also, and it's not even...
Across the street?
Maybe across the street. It's not functional right now, I don't think.
No, there's windows out of it and everything.
Yeah. I work a lot with the National Register, and I know they've been working with them to try to get it back as historically correct as possible. So, and the guys at the Arlington, they're doing better at that too. So I will say that a lot of the rehab they're doing on it, they are doing historically correct. So that's a good thing. So,
All right. So Blake.
Well, also to go forward on that, Hot Springs has tunnels all the way through it.
Right.
And a tunnel runs underneath Arlington. It runs all the way up to the Vapor Live Music, which is also a very active spot.
Right. I know that.
And I've had some great stories about that place.
Yeah. We did a video there.
Yeah. And I brought in some people from Texas that also did a video there, and it was crazy. So, you've got that as well, that actually, if you believe that the ghosts travel or whatever it is, I guess they can travel through the tunnels. I don't know.
well, Eureka Springs has the tunnels too.
Yeah,
I've heard that. I've heard that.
They have. North Little Rock doesn't. Even if you've heard it, that's not true. But people like to say there's a big tunnel down Main Street, but there's not in North Little Rock.
I thought there was one that went from
I know that's a story
bar.
that people like to say, but historians know that's really not true. They like to say there's a tunnel between four quarters and the old funeral home.
Yes,
but it's not. But that's okay. I know that's
that just
okay.
killed me. I wanted to see that.
Well, one of the things is how that started was at one time that bar was used as overflow for the funeral home. So it kind of got that started during the Spanish flu.
And Four Quarter Bar is also a very active place. I've been there several times.
Yes.
Several experiences that are crazy. They also have great burgers and a lot of great spirits, drinkable spirits.
Yes. So and they are good people that own it, wonderful people that own it. They are
awesome.
Wonderful to the ghost tours. I've had experiences myself at Four Quarters. And that's one of the places where I have to just go, okay, stop. I'm trying to do something. Especially if you're upstairs by yourself. I've had lights turn on and off and just a lot of different things happen there.
Ask Chris Counts about Four Quarter Bar. He will not go back in there.
Yeah.
Oh, he won't.
Yeah.
He had an experience where I guess you could say he got possessed, I guess.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Took it home with him, didn't he? I remember that.
Home with him.
He did.
Yeah.
Hello with the lights again.
I think I figured it out.
Not all of it. Some of them.
I think I figured it out. I think, Kent let us in. Mm-hmm. So after there's no activity with the door, they just automatically shut it. That's what I think.
Well, why are we in the spotlight now?
Well, why did they come back on? Because there was their activity by the door?
Yeah, because he came back.
He did? Okay.
Yeah, they dropped it back off.
Okay, sure.
So Blake,
we're going to go with that.
We're obviously going to do your top three. So what is your second? And it's all in Arkansas.
And I've got one question, another hotel for you if you had any information about it. But go ahead.
4 quarters crazy. Mm-hmm. There's more than just 3.
Yeah, I mean, your top 3.
I went with you to Reno's. That was pretty cool. Got my picture taken with the ghost.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I did.
And it's not up there on my list at all. I don't think that would even fall in my top 10.
Mm-mm.
Speaking of top 10, real quick, how long you been doing this?
Since 87, 88.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But not officially, and I took long breaks between.
Well, I mean, it's okay to take a break. It's just not okay to quit, right?
I mean, I don't think I ever could quit.
There you go.
I mean, at first I used to do it as an adrenaline rush. Mm-hmm. I would do it because I was scared to death.
Right.
I was petrified every time I went, and it was a fun adrenaline rush.
Right.
Then I met Michelle. We had we started Sweet and Sour Paranormal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We met some people in New Orleans, went to New Orleans to meet up with them and kind of train a little bit more. And we're in the middle of a cemetery on Friday the 13th in New Orleans, one of the most haunted cities in the world.
Yeah, New Orleans is.
Mm-hmm.
And our friend was telling me a story, and I started freaking out, internally freaking out. And I smelled lavender go by my nose. And it wasn't a graveyard. It was a pauper's grave. So,
I learned
about I learned about that from you last night.
Land and land and land. So there's no flowers anywhere or anything like that. So I don't know where the smell came from.
Mm.
And his wife was way down from it, and I said something about smelling it, and she said, "They're just trying to calm you down because you're getting scared." And
I didn't know.
I went, "Oh,
lavender is naturally a calming scent." Yes.
And so from that point on, I was like, "Ghosts aren't out to get me. It's fine." So I am not scared ghost hunting anymore at all. So it's no longer the adrenaline rush. Truthfully, I like doing it for the historical value.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like I like going to places that, like when we went to Arkansas Flag and Banner.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I like that stories you told me about Arkansas Flag and Banner were unreal.
Yeah.
You already hear the podcast because she went more in depth on that. Little Rock's dirty pastor. Or whatever.
I talk a lot.
I'm telling you,
I really do.
She talked about 9th Street. She talked about Little Rock. She talked about all this stuff. It's
lots
crazy.
of murder on 9th Street.
A lot more on 9th Street is what she basically talked about.
I talk to people all the time about that stuff. I mean, how can somebody use somebody's arm to direct traffic?
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to the old podcast.
Listen to the podcast. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what was your second place in Arkansas?
So probably 4 Quarter Bar, the state capitol.
Can you tell us some of the stuff about the state capitol? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen the video.
And then either Vapors or Arlington.
Yeah.
As your second.
My second 4 Quarter Bar.
Okay. So tell us about
stuff that's happened there is just crazy.
Tell us about it.
First time we went there, I'm downstairs. It was me, Conan, the owner, and one other guy that used to be on the team way back in the day. And everybody else is upstairs doing their stuff. I take a picture of the little window that they pass the food through, and there's people in the window looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
I show both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they both see it, plain as day. And then I hear them say my name upstairs. So I walk upstairs to see what they were talking about. And they were using a spirit box and said, "Is there anybody here you don't like?" And it was going, Blake.
Oh,
but
no.
Yeah, I'm like, what did I do? And I don't know why it was saying me, but I don't have.
You were taking their picture. You were proving they were there.
I guess so. So I went, "Oh, y'all got to see this picture that I just took downstairs." I go to show it, and the faces are not in the window anymore. Mm-hmm. It manipulated my phone's picture. Mm-hmm. I said something to my friend in New Orleans, and he said, "Yeah, we're doing a study on that right now." ghosts can manipulate the pictures in your phone. So as soon as you get something, send it to somebody else. I didn't know that back then, but
so they got it in on the phone too nowadays.
Yeah. There's also a picture of down the hallway where the bathrooms are, a security guard or something from back in the day. You can make him out, head, shoulders, feet, standing at the door. Chris had an episode where he, I don't know how else to explain it other than he got possessed, throwing up.
Goodness.
Was fine until he went home. I mean, was not fine until he went home.
Right.
After he left the building, he was fine. And he says he took it home with him, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, but he was definitely, I took a picture of him. He was sitting on a stool. Everything is in focus except his face. It looks like it's just going crazy, shaking.
Oh, one of those weird looking photos.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of crazy.
Well, ask me about the history of Four Quarters, and I can tell you why it's that haunted.
I'm going to tell you when he's done.
Yeah.
And there's, just little stuff like that. But there's been, I've seen the video that Conan has of the little mini steel that comes off the wall and falls down.
Yeah.
There's
I hadn't been there.
There's a picture of a orb or something that goes around the bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just a really cool place, and every time I go investigating there, because I go there for their food.
Yes.
I go there for their food a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
So I can't say every time I go there's something happens, but every time I go investigating there, something happens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give away my whole tour because then I won't have no customers. But I actually saw a video of something falling there that they caught on their surveillance camera.
That's probably the little keg thing.
It was way up on a top shelf. Yeah. But since I do my tours a lot of times in costumes, so a lot of times I walk in there in costume, big hat, 1800s looking, and I really feel like they're like, oh, here she is again in that costume. The history there is very complex, and I'll just give you a small part of it. The buildings on Main Street in Argenta, some of them are way back from the turn of a century, but not Four Quarters. Four Quarters is in a little area that has like 3 or 4 little businesses there. And on each side of these little short businesses are like 3 or 4 floor buildings, okay? So the story about that is that the tracks that used to run, there's a lot of train tracks in Argenta. I don't know why I'm having a hard time speaking it out. I'm sorry. Union Pacific railroad yards are still down there. And there's always been railroad yards down there since before the Civil War. Okay. So where Four Quarters sits used to be on what they called the side track, because behind...
And it was used to called side tracks.
It was called Sidetrack Bar. So because what it was the side track that if the main car, train car or whatever, couldn't carry on, they went to the side tracks and it'll take you right to Union Pacific Station. Okay. So that was the side track. So that was till about 1920 somethings, and they stopped using the track. They tore up the track and they built those buildings. Actually, our former Governor Donaghy built those buildings, and he was a teetotaler, Quaker. He didn't build it to be a bar. There was a photo studio in it at one point. If you look at it, it kind of looks like a department store set up a little bit because it's got a front window and it's got a upstairs, which a lot of places down there have a loft area. But however, what I say is think about the tracks that ran through Argenta. That was the major hub for all of Central Little Rock, okay, in Arkansas. And right behind the library across the street from there was where the tracks all crossed. You would go to Oklahoma or you would go to Missouri or if you were going, east, northeast, south, and west, right there, crossed right there. So I always think that the side tracks, the Four Quarters, is so very haunted because train tracks held a lot of emotion. You had people going to war, coming back from war. You had people going to funerals, people who left who never saw their family again. A lot of emotions went over that very area right there. And so I don't think those emotions and those experiences left just because they tore up the tracks and put a building. So yes, in the beginning, the bar was, when it first became a bar back in the early 80s, it was called Sidetracks. And they made up a story because they knew it was haunted, but they didn't have any reason why, didn't know why. And so they kind of made up their own little ghost story, but I won't go into that. But
well, wait a second. So the story about the owner killing the girlfriend, that's not true.
Okay, let me tell you here. Let's all go back in the time warp to like 1980 something, okay? Yeah. We did not have the internet. We did not have we didn't have Facebook. We couldn't report on every move we made.
Right.
The way that you got news out was you had local bulletin boards, which are actually boards you put tax in. People look, if you don't know, look it up. You know, if you don't know what that means. But you had bulletin boards, or you had neighborhood newsletters, or that sort of thing. And so what they did was they were like, we have this bar and it's so very haunted. So let's make up a story. So in a nutshell, here's their story. Their story was that it was a bar, and they said it was back in the late 1800s. Well, no, not really, but okay, back in late 1800s, and that it was next door. They said the building next door to it was, this is literally from the story, dirt floor brothel. Okay. Oh. First off, we don't have no dirt floors in our agenda because most of them have basements. You can't have a basement and a dirt floor, but that's okay. Dirt floor brothel. Remember, we wrote this in the 80s. And so that was right next to the bar. So the women in the bar, there was a girl, her name was Anastasia. She was only 13 years old. Now, what popular Disney movie had a name of Anastasia in the early and mid 80s? Okay, let's just keep a track here. Okay, Anastasia, who would have been a Russian immigrant, which that's not what we have in North Iraq. We have German immigrants, but that's okay. So Anastasia's over there. She's 13 years old. Yes, times are different then. Sometimes a prostitute was only 13 years old. And so there was a man named Mr. Maxwell. Well, he fell in love with her, and he said, oh, I love you. Let me take you away from here. Marry me, and you don't have to live this life anymore. And she said, go away and leave me alone. You're messing with my money. I don't love you. I'm not going to marry you, and I'm fine. And he got mad. And the story goes that he cut her throat and killed her right in front of all the other women in the brothel. Well, then he goes back over just right next door to the bar, and the people in the bar supposedly attacked him and killed him for killing Anastasia right then. His name was Mr. Maxwell. So they say, well, the woman that haunts Four Quarters is this prostitute. Now, there is a woman that haunts Four Quarters. I kind of seen her myself, but that's not Anastasia. And yeah, that's not her. And she's wearing more of a 1920s outfit. Many people have said that. They see her upstairs on the staircase, that sort of thing. So anyway, that's the story that came out in local little newsletters that kind of got around because come to the haunted bar.
I heard a little variation of that. Yeah. One was he pushed her off the balcony and she fell and broke her neck. And
well, they do that because
a year later he fell off too.
Oh, well, that's a good one though. Yeah. That's a good one.
It just keeps getting better.
Yeah. We may have to work on that one. It just keeps getting better. Yes, and
whatever sells.
Yeah, whatever sells.
All I know, present day, I saw something standing at the end of the hallway. I saw faces in the window. Mm-hmm. I've had other experiences. I don't know who they are. There's somebody there.
Yes, yes. So I think a lot of buildings can go back to a certain time that this tragedy or something happened at that building. And I think Four Quarters is more, if you think of it as a train station, people coming in and out. And so I think there was a lot of that there. And I will say 7 years ago now, the first ghost tour that my business partner, Paul Prater, he did down there. The very first night, he gives the tour, walking tour of Argentina. He ends up at Four Quarters because that's his favorite bar too. We love that place. And he ends up there and he says, well, okay, guys, that's the end of the tour, but I'm going to have a drink at Four Quarters. Anybody want to come? Come on. Okay. So the whole tour, this is the first ghost tour, right? Whole tour goes over there. They're drinking. Some people are upstairs in the balcony. Some people are downstairs. And a lady starts down the staircase. And people down at the bottom of the staircase could see this. It looked like she was physically pushed from behind.
Oh, goodness.
She fell all the way down to the stairs, fell all the way down the stairs, and ended up having to take away in an ambulance and was that hurt. Now that's the first night of the ghost tours.
Start off good.
7 years later, here we are still.
Yeah.
So, so we're not sure what happened there, but they were just getting to know that we were going to give the ghost tours. But yeah, she said she felt hands push her, and other people said, yes, you could see from the middle of her body, it looked like she was pushed.
But nobody pushed her.
Nobody was up there with her. Right. No. So, yeah, things happen there. If you want to have a good time in North Rock, go to the Haunted Bar. I just give them a plug. I really like them.
And if you want some good food, go to the Haunted Bar because
exactly.
Wow.
Yes,
I'm telling you. Yeah, it's Conan used to work at TC's. No, not TC's. He used to work at Midtown on Main Street in Little Rock, and they used to have the best burgers ever. Well, Conan went to Four Quarter. TC, Thomas Cole Glazier, went to Conway to TC's Grill. All three of their burgers are probably the best 3 burgers in the state of Arkansas. I'm also a foodie, if you can't
You
tell.
are a foodie.
These lights are crazy.
Do you
think they're motion activated somehow? Like
they are motion activated somehow, I'm sure, but they haven't been on or off in a long enough setting. I mean, it hasn't been 20 minutes or anything. They've
Blake
been
brought friends.
Yeah, they've been on or off for like 5 minutes.
My fault.
Yes, Blake is carrying.
What's your third place?
What I say, state capital for?
Yeah.
You said Arlington first, and then you said the place we just talked about,
Four Quarters.
And state
Third
capital
place.
or Vapors.
Yeah.
But you've been to the Vapors more than once.
4. Oh, I've been to the Vapors several times.
That's what I'm saying. But the state capital is just one time.
One time.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Probably the state capital, just because you've been there once and you're comparing it to a place you've been to multiple times.
True. And same with Four Quarter. I've been there multiple times. So one time at the Arkansas State Capitol. They now have a law that you can't investigate in there anymore. You're welcome to all the other investigators.
Yeah.
We scared some state police, or not state police, some Capitol Police. So,
what was the video that I saw?
The one where I got my hat knocked off?
That was you, yes.
Yes. Well, you only see after my hat was knocked off. The actual video where my hat gets knocked off that about 4 or 5 state Capitol Police saw, 4 or 5 people that were with us saw, can't be released because you can tell where the videos are or where the cameras are, so they can't release the video. Right. But yeah, my hat got knocked off walking through one of the what do you call the round? The round door.
The dome. The dome. No.
Well, you know how there's the big one when you first walk in? Well, to the left, there's a smaller one.
Oh, the smaller one. Okay.
And I was walking through there. My hat gets knocked off.
Rotunda.
That's
there
it
you
right
go.
there.
I would have never guessed that.
Yes.
Well, leave it to a historian. But no.
Hey.
If she doesn't know, we're in trouble.
And I can tell you about the Capitol too, but yeah, go ahead.
But Michelle turns and starts videoing me, looking around, trying to figure out, was there wind? Why did my hat come flying off? And you hear on her video, leave. So, in my opinion, it was somebody from back in the day saying, you're disrespecting this place. You take your hat off.
Ooh.
There you go.
That's just what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
We also later heard a lady scream. The only ladies were with us.
Wow.
So,
right.
You know, there's other things that happen in there, but those were the 2 biggest ones.
Too bad y'all can't get the video of that.
Yeah, I know. Well, the scream was actually on TV. It was on the news.
I think Lauren did that, didn't she?
I think so.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
That is cool.
But yeah, we can't get to the video of my hat knocked off.
Right. Which we understand why, but it still sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the worst things ever at Vapors Live, I had my friends from Ghost Geeks from Dallas come in, and, you know, actually, it was before they all came in. It was just me and the head guy from there, their president. we're sitting there doing a spirit box session and just talking, and audibly, not through the spirit box, but audibly, we start hearing someone talking to us.
Oh.
So he says, well, what do you think about the government blowing up the side of your building?
Oh.
And can I say a bad word?
Yeah.
Okay. Literally, we hear, fuck the FBI.
Wow.
Oh,
And
wow.
we both look at each other. I said, did you get that on video, on audio? He plays it back. It's on audio.
Wow.
He said, oh my gosh, I'm going to send you this right now. He deleted it.
No.
Yep. Yeah, I make fun of him all the time. The best audio evidence I've ever in my life captured. A ghost saying, fuck the FBI.
And it gets deleted.
It gets deleted.
Well, now I have to ask, what is the history of vapors? That's one thing I don't know.
Yeah. Vapors was it was basically the Vegas of Arkansas.
Right.
A lot of FBI haters there, probably.
From the Mississippi River to Vegas itself, it was the only place where these big, huge stars, Liberace, everybody had played.
Everybody.
Yeah. And, but it was also a casino, illegal casino.
Right.
Well, the FBI back in the day, from, what I've read and everything, set it up where they were going to go blow up the side of, blow up the casino part.
Right.
And make it where, because Hot Springs was basically a place where all the criminals could come and not be touched.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Well, the FBI was going to make that not happen anymore. And the reason they say that everybody knew that was coming is because the newspapers were there to take pictures of the side of the building being blown up.
Right. And
of course they were.
That in the vapors.
Yeah, and there is a picture of it in the vapors.
Yeah.
So they blow up the side of the vapors. Nobody was supposedly killed. There was a lady that lost her arm in it, but other than that was like the biggest thing ever that happened. So only one person injured, or maybe a couple people injured. No one died. But yeah, the FBI kind of said, you're not doing the illegal casino anymore in this place.
Right. Wow. Well, if someone's listening and they're not familiar with Hot Springs, I guess this was about the 1930s, 1940s. What roundabout year was that?
Not for sure.
Or it could have been 60s or 70s. I know. We'll have to get back y'all on that. But if anybody ever looks up, crime in Hot Springs, you will find Al Capone and all of the bootlegging and everything that was done there. So that's what I mean when I say there's probably a lot of FBI hater ghosts there.
That's true.
I know when Daryl, I went back to Daryl's where he was. He was in the safe room. His closet was a safe room.
So he had his own little separate house within the building. And
who, Al Capone? Or
Daryl, the guy who he used to manage it.
Oh, okay.
And they're in his little house part that they had built was a safe. And like the big safe that you see at a bank door.
Wow.
And that's where they went and counted their money and stuff back in the day.
The shelves still sag from all the weight of the bags.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy. Cool. We may have to do something about vapors in the future. I need to know now.
I don't know who has it anymore.
Does Jimmy still have it? I know it was for sale.
Yeah, I have no idea. When Daryl left, I just kind of...
Wow. Well, that's interesting. Like I admit, you specialize in downtown Little Rock and North Little Rock history, but Hot Springs is always fascinating too.
And Hot Springs is crazy. I mean, everywhere I've been investigating there's been something.
Yeah.
And even Ozzy Osbourne's son, Jack. Jack Osbourne has gone there and investigated and at the Malco. Yeah. And if he would have known that, Blade also owns the hotel right beside it.
Right.
Maxwell Blade also owns the hotel. It caught on fire way back in the day. He hasn't restored it yet, but that was actually more. There was more paranormal activity there than there was at the Malco. Yeah, I got a picture of a little boy in the in the top part of. I'm having you're talking, not being able to talk is catching.
It's catching, yes.
In the balcony of the Malco, we caught a little boy's face. So, and I've had some other experiences in the Malco. So I'm not saying it's not haunted, but the stuff that went on in the hotel beside it was crazy.
Malco was the only place I've ever videoed that I had. So I'm always like, as you know, I'm always the last person to go through because I'm videoing you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a light behind me for some reason, I don't know, and I actually capture it. What it looks like a shadow at first. But
I remember that.
Remember that? But yeah. I don't carry my camera like, I'm He-Man up here like this. Excuse me, like this. And then that thing goes down. And if I did put my camera like that, then you wouldn't see straight ahead. You'd be looking up.
He's talking about up on his shoulder, y'all, because we don't have video.
I keep getting to show video.
I didn't even realize he said like this.
He's like this. Like, well, okay.
Y'all see that?
Yeah. How can't you see it?
We're going to regret not videoing this.
But I know, especially with the lights.
Yes.
But there's like a shadow straight in front of me, and I'm the only person.
Wow. That's awesome.
And it's not doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And there's no light behind me because I've got the light in front of me.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
And that also kind of happened over Flag and Banner, where you caught something moving. You caught a shadow moving. Remember on the stage?
Yeah, on the stage, yeah. I still don't know 100% on that. I'm leaning more towards it's something rather than it's nothing.
Again, those of you who don't know, Flag and Banner is on 9th Street in Little Rock. They're awesome. Go buy your Flag and Banner. Little plug.
She's really nice. I can't remember her name.
Used to be
Taborian Hall.
Taborian Hall. Right. It was built
Dreamland Ballroom.
Yes, at the Dreamland Ballroom. So that again is another thing to go look up. It's very, very interesting, but a lot of things happen there too.
So, Amy, tell us about the history of the haunted side of you were talking about the state capitol.
Oh, the state capitol. Okay, well, if you go back on maps, you can see this too. We became a state in 1836 when Arkansas became a state, and at that time, Mr. Chester Ashley had come to Arkansas in 1821. One of the first 14 white men to get on the shores of the Arkansas River there in downtown Little Rock. He also really kind of took over most of downtown Little Rock and plotted it out and rented it out to people. And if you wanted to buy something, you usually had to buy it from him, like the first 25 blocks of Little Rock. Okay. So if you know where the state capitol is, it is not close to the river. It's a ways off from the river. However, a lot of the early Arkansas federal buildings and that sort of thing, Chester Ashley was involved in. And he actually donated the land for the first old state house, which is down by the river. But
which I've investigated too.
Oh, the old one.
The old state house, yeah, that's something. But the old state house is down there, and it was our state house till 1911. But because that was the seat of government, over where our state capitol sits right now is the area that Arkansas's first state prison was on. And so it was...
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
It's actually kind of a question too.
Yeah.
I was told that was built on Indian burial ground. That's what, when we did the whole investigation of the Capitol and the news station followed us, I can't think of the other historian, the state historian.
Stacey Hurst, I believe, was head of Department of Heritage at that time. Did she not?
No, it wasn't Stacey. It was the man.
I
can I think of his name? Anyway, he's the one that said the prison was built on top of the Indian burial ground.
Oh, goodness.
It very well could have been because, like I said, when we showed up here in 1821, the Quapaw was right there. And so, yes, I would firmly believe that would have been part of a burial ground. But I don't think there was like mounds. I've never heard there was Indian mounds.
He didn't say anything about mounds.
I had not heard that because you got to think too, they didn't have a lot of earth moving equipment. So they probably picked a flat surface, something to put the prison on. The prison was self-sufficient. They grew their own food. They had outbuildings. They had bigger buildings. If you go down in the state capitol now, downstairs in like the food court area, there is a brick wall that is still left there from the prison. And
a man sitting there that's not really there. I guess I could tell you that one later. Go ahead.
So, there's a lot of things they say that happens in the basement. Probably just as our old state house, a lot of the state prison was built by slave laborers. However, then in about 1909, I believe it took 2 years to build the state capitol. And as it was being built, there were people that died during its construction. There was somebody who fell from one of the domes of the rotundas, like you were speaking. Somebody fell and died there. I actually know his nephew. I hear stories like that all the time that, my family member worked on the construction crew that built the Capitol and they died. So there were several people that died during the construction of it. But it being a prison and, there's a lot of that going on. And then right now, what is happening up on the state capitol grounds is they were making an underground tunnel. Have y'all heard of that? Right now, I might be done. I know they wanted to have it done. We're in the session is in legislative right now. They wanted to have it done by then. But what it is they went underground and started digging out a tunnel so that the legislators can walk from the House and the Senate floor through this tunnel to get to the next building. Don't have to go outside in the weather and walk over to the next building. So they've been doing this for a year or so and excavating like truckload and truckload and truckload of dirt out of there. So as they dug this tunnel, things have occurred, not exactly made public. I don't know them. I just know that things have happened. They have found things. But if you can imagine, it was a prison. So...
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not heard that at all.
Yeah. I don't know if the tunnel's officially open. I did think it was supposed to be officially open by this time, but I'm not sure. But
they are in session now. So.
Yeah, they're in session but they'll be in session to probably June. And I'm not sure. We just got a new Secretary of State and they're the ones who handle all that. So I'm just not sure if it's completely functional yet, but it's going to be. It'll be functional this year, I'm sure. So that's moving a lot of dirt in the state capitol grounds.
Oh, just goodness.
It's a lot of dirt. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't going on when we went.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No. In fact, we didn't have the same governor when y'all went.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So let's say you went.
Our boss was a different boss.
Yes. Let's say you went, 2022? I think it's when y'all went.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Historian, I know these things. Yeah. You told me historian, I just clicked it. Yes.
I don't even know what my birthday is.
Yes. Well, I like that y'all talked about vapors, though. I do think that I'd like to know that
There's
a little more.
There's a book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
there was also AETN. No, wait, was that on that?
I don't know.
I think there's an AET.
I want to say I watched a documentary about it at one point. I do remember something like that. So, but when we're not doing video, we have to remember to explain what we're doing. Then we also have to remember it's nice to have a conversation because, us three can sit down and have a conversation, eat some cheese dip all day long. But,
where's the
budget? Where's the budget?
but
it's not live, so we can't say, "Hey, will y'all bring us some food?"
Yeah, will y'all bring us some food? I just want to make sure that we don't end up with a lot of questions. I want people. That's why I keep jumping in and saying, "Well, the historian in me always wants to make sure everybody knows exactly what we're talking about and who we're talking about." And Stacey, you're from Hot Springs, right? So
I'm from El Dorado.
From El Dorado, but you live in that area
Hot
now.
Springs, El Dorado, pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah. I live in Hot Springs Village.
Yeah. So you're probably more familiar with that part of the history and stuff going on, no?
I'm not really, not the village. I know more about Hot Springs than I do the village.
Oh, okay.
And the reason we started investigating in Hot Springs was just because they opened their doors to us.
Right.
Okay.
Places in Little Rock just wouldn't let us in.
Which is what I was wanting to ask. So if someone was wanting to start out investigating, what would you suggest their equipment be or what would you suggest somebody wanting to do it?
Man, I've bought $10,000 worth of equipment and I don't use hardly any of it. Your best equipment is your eyes, your ears, your touch. And never investigate.
Fun historical researcher friend.
Yeah. And it's good to have a clairvoyant too.
Yes.
Michelle is probably the best piece of equipment that we have.
But like if you say just me, I just wanted to start out by myself, didn't didn't have nothing but a cell phone. I mean, it's just recording, isn't it? I mean,
I mean, you can record audio on your phone. You can take pictures on your phone.
Right.
There's apps on your phone.
Right.
So, yeah, you don't have to go out and do dumb stuff like I did and buy all this stuff that's just it sets in Pelican cases.
At the house.
Yeah. Well, no, I bring them with us, but we never use it.
Well, how many years ago, though? I think you may have told us. When did you start doing this, though?
I started doing it in 87-ish, but didn't get big into it till I met Michelle, and that was 2017, 18.
Yeah.
And that's when I started buying all this stuff because I'm watching Ghost Adventures and all those others.
Yes.
Hey, they have this. I've got to have that.
Yes.
They have this. Oh, I've got to have one of those. And then I start using them and I'm like, I mean, that's cool, but I could have gotten just as much by doing this.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that equipment doesn't work. It does. I mean, you've seen the SLS camera that I have, and I love it. And it's shown some great evidence. The spirit boxes, they've had great evidence. All the other equipment that I have has shown great evidence. But if I was just starting out, and I'm not a professional ghost hunter, just your phone.
Yeah.
And always go with somebody. Do not go by yourself. And it's not because something bad's going to happen to you with a spirit. What if you are walking in a graveyard and they have just dug up a grave that they're going to bury somebody in the next day? You fall in, break an arm and a leg, you can't get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
I was thinking you was going to talk about like evidence. Like if I go play golf, I never go by myself because if I get a hole in one, nobody will believe me.
I mean, that's not going to happen anyway.
Right. But I'm just saying, what if, maybe I should go play by myself.
Well, my point was in 1987, there was an app, and as a historian, I always try to inform people because we never know what age we're talking to. And so when we tell people, well, before the internet, like, my step-granddaughter would be like, before what? What are you talking about? They don't realize that we had a life. We all breathed in and out. Anyway, so before Facebook and before apps, you were already started. In 87, you were buying professional equipment. So I have a question.
No. Back then, we just had, I think the most equipment we had was a video or audio recorder.
Radio Shack.
Yeah.
You did Radio Shack recordings.
Exactly.
I love Radio Shack.
Well, what? Yeah. Well, again, people go, where? Oh, that's on Sheldon. That's on big. I
worked at Radio Shack for 6 years.
See, people
so I love that
they
place.
say that on what is that? Not the Big Bang Theory, but the one about when he was a kid. And anyway, Young Sheldon talks about Radio Shack, and I'm telling you, talk to a teenager, they'll go, "Oh, that came from that show." That's all they know about it. We're so old. Anyway, I have a question though. So the box that you turn on that has the lights and all the doodads and everything that is supposed to light up when a spirit comes close to it. Okay. What's the premise of that though? Is it on sound waves, movement waves? What's the premise of that?
Actually, it's got 3 different things. One is temperature.
Okay.
So as the temperature changes drastically, not just a little bit, it's got to change a few degrees.
Yeah.
It'll light up. Also the movement and what's the other? I want to say it's not sound. I don't know. There's 3 different ones, but the one that I concentrate on that is the movement, the touch, because you have to come within maybe a quarter of an inch from it to make it
like motion detection.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, but temperature and motion are the 2 that I use, and there's one other part on there that I don't understand and I don't use.
And you keep saying spirit box. Could you explain kind of what that does?
A spirit box is a box that it's basically a radio that runs through frequencies, and it's believed that a spirit can manipulate the frequencies and talk through those. So
didn't we used to call that white noise? Wasn't there a movie about white noise and we all were freaked out about it? And now we're all just spirit boxing all the time.
And that's an app on the phone they can get.
You can do that on the phone. I have a problem with apps on the phone because I think that they are interfered with other stuff, would interfere with it more than a standalone radio.
Gotcha. I'm with you on that.
And that's just me.
Yeah. That's the Radio
I guess
Shack.
It's not just me, it's me and you.
That's the Radio Shack coming out in me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the more you have, the more interference chance you have, the more interference you're going to get.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I like doing the independent standalone spirit box, which is basically a radio.
Yeah. Okay. So. That's cool. Old-fashioned radio, guys. That's what we had before we had Spodia. Okay. Anyway, so I'm trying to explain these words, as a historian. I want to educate people. Well, that's interesting. So you use that and you use video, correct? And then you use Michelle, kind of explain what Michelle is, if you don't mind, because there's going to be people listening to this go, now, what's that?
Clairvoyant, I don't know the exact, man, see, you're talking thing.
I know, I'm sorry.
Definition of
Same person's messing with the lights.
Basically, a clairvoyant can be either, hey, it is movement. The lights just came back on. If you didn't, it's movement. So, as a clairvoyant, you can either hear spirits, you can see spirits, you can do both, and you can tell the future or any of those.
Can you talk to the spirit? Like a spirit, can you say, I mean, like our...
As a clairvoyant?
Yeah. Is that what Long Island Media, what's her name with the big hair is?
Yeah, some can go back and forth like a medium.
Yeah, like a medium. Okay.
So a clairvoyant is just the overall term.
Right.
Okay.
Of, those people that can hear, see, feel, touch. Like have a spirit visit them and say, hey, I hear that you can talk to ghosts.
Gotcha.
Go tell this person this.
Okay.
But there's so many different levels of a clairvoyant. Michelle has a couple of them. I have another friend that is a clairvoyant. She has a couple others. So I always try to take one of them with me and do exactly the opposite of what they warn me to do.
Kind of stir the pot.
Yeah. Like I was at a cemetery not long ago, and the clairvoyant that I took, it was not Michelle because she wasn't available, told me, don't go to the left. And I went to the left. So, that's just me. And I did get pushed when I went to the left, and everybody saw me get pushed. So, and I felt it. I was like, oh my gosh. Do
you go to these cemeteries at night in the dark?
And yes, and you don't have, all the stuff you hear people that investigate do it at night. Mm-hmm. It's basically ghosts don't tell time.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
We did that at vaccines.
Yeah. Ghosts don't tell time. It doesn't matter if it's night or day, but night, sunlight affects your vision, where night, it wouldn't affect, you can see different things better at night than you can during the day. As far as shadows, there's also less interference from people not using their cell phones and all that other stuff. And traffic's less at night. There's all kinds of reasons to do it at night, but it doesn't have to be at night.
Okay.
So, I agree with that.
That's good. That's a good point. So, so you recommend that you always take somebody with you in case you get hurt. You're not there by yourself. Mm-hmm. Do you recommend, are you the type of ghost hunter? Now, I've seen you do this, but I'm just asking for the people that are listening. Do you antagonize them?
I think he does. Don't go left. Go left.
He's turning red now.
Yes and no. If I feel that it's going to be a demonic thing, I'm not going to say, hey, you. Yeah. Come into my body. No, I'm not going to do that at all. If it's demonic, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess with that. But I'll say, hey, talk to us.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So that would be basically it. Just, if someone wanted to, you recommend a pair, two people, and just a cell phone. Someone can get started with just their cell phone.
Yeah. Cell phone or a tape recorder.
Right.
You can use your video on your cell phone.
Right.
And, pictures do great, audio, and then see and touch, smell.
Mm-hmm. And I know we might be getting into the logistics a little bit, but I'm trying to think, if I was trying to start this, tell me some of the logistics of it. You find someone says this place is haunted, and will you come investigate? Sometimes they ask you, but sometimes you hear it from somebody else and you go ask them. So do you pay these places when you investigate?
Most places will make you rent the facility to go in because they want to make some money off of it.
Yeah.
I never go anywhere without some permission to go.
Right.
And I've heard of a lot of people that, hey, I'm going to go ghost hunting. And I'm like, how'd you get in there? We just went. Oh,
can't do that.
No, they're called urban explorers.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, they're called trespassers.
They are called trespassers.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
Don't do that, people. If you're listening, don't do that. Don't do that downtown Little Rock. I will catch you. But anyway.
one thing that I've done, you know, to get in places because they do charge, you know, to go in is I'll do a commercial for them since I have video equipment,
right?
You know, and trade it out that way, you know.
And I just flat out one of the places we investigated, I just flat out made a donation to their charity,
cause, which is good. Which is good.
To be able to get in, and other places I flat out paid to do it.
See,
some places you got to sign your life away on permission on legal documents to get in.
That's right. So if you hurt yourself, you're there. You can't sue them, kind of thing. Which is fair.
I do it for the history thing.
Right.
Yes.
I love the history of places, and that's where I want to go investigate.
Right.
I mean, even if it's a cemetery, you know, what was the history of the people that are there?
Exactly.
The buildings, what were the history of that behind that could possibly be left there, or flag and banner in the entire area that could be.
Yes, that still has energy left from the horrible things that happened there. Yes.
So,
well,
you know, and I do it basically if someone asked me to come investigate for them to let them know they're not crazy.
That's true. That's true.
And that's really just to give them a peace of mind.
Yes.
I'm not, if it's something that's bad.
Yes.
I'm not going to be the person that does the seance or anything like that or the,
conjuring, we call it. Yes.
We're not invoking.
I'm not going to get rid of the ghost for them. That's up to.
That's a priest, or something.
Let's go to the Catholic diocese and do something. Get rid of it. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have some rosaries on my bed. My bed pole or the headboard, and I do have some holy water next to my bed, and I have some sage, and I have all that stuff. But I'm not pulling it out to get rid of a ghost. I mean, unless it's one that's attached to me, and again, knock on wood.
But there is professional people that do that too.
Yes,
There is.
Blake, do you have anything else you want to add to it?
I mean,
anything you want to tell anybody that is haunted related, or you know what I mean?
Don't believe all the TV shows. They are for entertainment.
Yes.
I mean, some things may be real, but for the majority, watch it for entertainment, because there's no way that you're going to see me out on an investigation and someone says, get out on the spirit box, and I'm going to go, oh my God.
Right. He does that for his bank account. He or she.
Yeah.
That's the bank account talking.
Okay, why should I get out? You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to freak out every single time. And these guys do it every week.
Time.
That's because their producers are telling them to.
Exactly. So, don't believe all the TV shows.
Right.
And also, there are some people who can feel, see, and everything more than others. Just because you can't see, hear, smell, touch, feel, doesn't mean somebody else can.
Right.
Also, I believe, and a lot of people believe, that spirits want you to know they're there, but they don't want everybody to know they're there. So the three of us could be sitting here, and one of them could be touching Amy, and we not know anything that they're here at all. We have a shadow figure on video that we still don't know what it was. Was that somebody walking? We don't know how it could possibly be one of us walking.
It is crazy. It's on the my YouTube channel, SWADE Productions, under Haunted Under the Dreamland Ballroom. And that is crazy.
But I mean, just because that could or could not have been one of us, it could have been a spirit. All we can say is that's not normal, and not normal is paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Oh, that's good.
I like that.
That's a very good way to wrap that up.
Put that on a shirt.
And it doesn't mean it's evil.
Exactly.
Yes.
I've really only had a couple experiences with evil, and I got the heck out of there.
There you go.
Yeah. And yeah.
Amy, do you have anything before we wrap it up?
No, I think this was great though. And I think I want to keep up with what Blake is doing, so next time you do one, let us know and we'll do a recap of it. I think that'd be great. Yeah.
I mean, last time I went on one I guess it was in November, late October, November. I tried to get Stacy to go with me, but
I was busy.
It was too far for him to go, and that's when I got pushed. And
oh yeah,
Wow.
It's a cemetery. Yeah.
That was that cemetery.
Yeah,
Now, if you're going to a cemetery, I'm a cemetery girl. I'd love to go anytime. Anytime, I'd love to go to a cemetery.
The Leggett Cemetery in Lonoke. I don't know how I got there. If it wasn't for John Staley, the Lonoke County Sheriff, showing me where it was and showing me how to get out of there, I couldn't have gotten there. I couldn't take you there right now to save my life. But first time we went out there, nothing at all. We just got a bunch of mosquito bites and nothing. This time, pictures. I reached for I kept hearing a bell ring, and I thought it was.
Wow, in the cemetery. Imagine that as the bell tells. Yeah.
Well, I thought at first, I said, no, that's got to be the flagpole, the metal on the flagpole hitting. And I'm like, no, that sounds too much like a bell. And then I walked by a gravestone, had a little baby chair on it with a bell on it.
With a bell, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I reach for the bell and the bell rings. I'm like, okay, I won't touch it.
Yeah, we're not touching it. Yeah, you have pictures too.
Yeah, I have pictures of 4 different people that were not one of us, and that place is so secluded that it couldn't have been anybody else.
Right.
And then again, I got pushed.
Well, that's all I've got. Blake, thanks for being on.
Yes, thank you. This was awesome.
Amy, thank you.
Thank you. This was fun.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the SWADE Pro Show. See you guys on the next episode.